Zetech University and Nairobi City Thunder are the champions of the first edition of the Eliud Owalo Foundation Basketball Tournament, which ended today at the Ulinzi Complex in Nairobi. Zetech edged reigning basketball queens KPA 59-50 in a tightly contested final, with their player Michelle Sukutu also being named the most valuable player during the match. Zetech won all the 4 quarters to secure the winner's prize.
One lesson that we have learned is that with good governance and proper planning, we can take the game to higher heights. And also, working in partnership is very, very important. You have seen that in this tournament, we have partnered with the Kenya Basketball Federation, we have partnered with Kenya Academy of Sports, Cooperative Bank, KPA, just to mention but a few of the sponsors. You cannot do it alone. So we want to bring all friends of basketball together so that we work together towards promoting the game.
A nail-biting men's final saw Nairobi City Thunder face off with Equity in the final. The two sides could not be separated in normal time, sending the match into extra time. After point-by-point battle, City Thunder managed to come out on top, beating their opponents 80-71 to put both hands on the winner's trophy.
You see, there's an abundance of talent at the grassroots that has not been identified and fully utilized. One of the objectives we have is to identify the talent early enough so that it does not go to waste. So we will go to the lowest level possible in sponsorship.
This is a good opportunity for the coaches to weigh the ground, see what the opposition has, because along the line, Equity will meet Thunder again.
I think when things were stalling, we needed our captain, Griffin Lagari, to really step up, make some big shots, and he did that for us. And that's why one of the main reasons why he's captain.
Equity won the women's third-place playoff after overcoming USIU 65-50. KPA men beat Ulinzi Warriors 56-53 to finish third. The 3-day tournament attracted 6 men's teams and 6 women's teams, with the winners getting a cash prize of 300,000 Kenya shillings.
Being a mother is demanding in a lot of ways. Adapting is just part of a mother's life. Female sports personalities faced agonizing decisions about pausing their careers to have children or waiting to start a family after they retire. Contracts might be reduced, with doubts both internal and external about regaining their form after having a child.
Cutting off the weight was a big challenge for me, but as I said, I am a go-getter, so it meant paying for some gym classes for myself.
Back to training, it was really hard because I was unfit and there were a lot of people who were very fit, so that's why I didn't make it to the team.
As much as motherhood is celebrated, women are still challenged when it comes to parenting their children and playing professional sports.
Wakati tunatoka nje, unawacha mtoto, unawachia mfanyakazi mtoto akulelee kwa muda wa wiki ama siku 5 hivi. So maybe wakati unapokuwa huko nje, akili iko kwa mtoto, ujue akoje, anaendelea aje. And sometimes maybe unaacha mtoto feel poor. So that's the thing, unasikia mtu uko nje but hauko comfortable pia.
I wouldn't say that you shouldn't want to start your family because of sports and such a thing. Because I was there. I was a very good striker, by the way, and I still am, and I'm working my way back there.
Some of these women have partners who care for their children, and this helps bring a balance in motherhood.
Aliniskuma sana, kaniambia you'll have to go for training. Tutakuwa na chance za kukaa na mtoto. Wakati wewe uko na training ya national team, mimi nabaki na mtoto. Wakati yako na training ya national team, mimi nabaki na mtoto. So tulisaidiana kabisa.
I knew that at the end of it all, I'd still want to see myself playing and motivating others and being that mother who came back with a bang.
We do fitness, not only the ball work, but we do everything. So that makes me come back, and it's really helping me. Yeah.
Pregnancy is wonderful, but it can also be difficult for the body of professional athletes, as it can be completely overwhelming and exhausting.
I have like over 15 caps or more. I can't really keep tabs, but they're quite a number. And to those ladies who are fearing this, please stop the fear. It's doable, it's possible. It's all about planning yourself.
I make time to go and practice. I make time to have the team bonding with my team members, and still I have a baby to take care of. I have a child that needs my attention.
Pata mtoto si mwisho wa talenta yako. Hiyo si mwisho wa talenta yako. Unaweza fika hapo na urudi tena. Itakutegemea na vile utarudi na nguvu zako na ile bidii na discipline ya mazoezi yako.
For professional sportswomen who are mothers, their stories are entirely different with the simple joys.
I come to City Park, I'm going to play a game, and they're all there watching me. I really feel so proud.
When my baby is there in the stands and screaming out, "Mommy, keep pushing! Mommy, I can see you! Mommy!" Yeah, in as much as she may not understand whether it's you've been scored or you guys have scored, but just the sound and the voice of my child, it's such a big motivator.
Struggles and chaos that come along. These women should get the support and advocacy they need, and their wins on the scoreboard recognized equally.
Sports gave me the first job, and I'm still into it. So the more I also play, the more I also get to go higher in the department.
Women in sports have not called it quits even after transitioning into motherhood. In fact, they say it gets better once another responsibility has been added.
Unacheza ili waone na pia encourage the young girls who are coming up, because most of them akiwa mjamzito, akipata mimba, kuisha. It's not the end of life, but it's just the beginning.
Happy Mother's Day to all women out there from Nora Mwangi on Channel 1.
The waters that visited Gataka area in Embakasi sublocation as a result of heavy rains that pounded the country for weeks are yet to subside. Families have been left homeless and businesses destroyed by flood waters.
Hii maji imetuangaisha, tuko na watoto, tumehangaika, tumeenda kukaa kwa shule huko juu. Tulipewa tunakaa huko kwa shule. Hata sasa hatuna mahali pa kukaa. Watoto wameshindwa kuenda shule, uniform zilienda. Vitabu ziliharibika, chakula iliharibika.
40 households are now homeless. Stagnant waters and raw sewer putting people here at risk of contracting diseases.
Naona pia vio vyetu vimejaa maji, so even the water we are drinking now is not safe because most of the boreholes tunatumia within Gataka. Si maji inaenda tu kwa hizo boreholes.
Victims here say they have been left alone with their elected leaders, completely ignoring their plight.
Tuna viongozi, tuko na governor, tuko na senator, MCA. Hakuna mtu yote ambaye jitokeza kujua kuna mtu ambaye ameathirika, kuna mtu ambaye ameteseka. Hawa wako tu.
Cry Out for the City of Nairobi has offered the much needed relief, but they admit this is barely enough.
They are so desperate. They have nowhere else to go. That's where we are appealing, for the government, well-wishers, let's come and see how we can resettle these people.
Poor drainage has complicated matters here.
We are asking for a resettlement action plan. We are also asking that the government will find a way to help this water recede.
Well-wishers have called on the community around Gataka to come to their aid.
They do need supplies. School is starting next week, and their supplies is completely destroyed. The kitchen is completely destroyed. They need food supplies. They need stationery as well. So we need people to come on board to be able to help us.
Over 200 people have died as a result of floods, with 200,000 others displaced by floods. The government has, however, committed to support victims of floods in the country. Tilio Marco for Sunday Express.
Born again, I love the Lord. Do you want me to speak on your behalf to the king or to the commander of the army? To nurture, to fellowship, to care for one another, to encourage one another.
I have heard you speak about what's going on in our country, the floods and the challenges that we have, and I really sincerely want to thank you for praying for our country. What you're doing to support the people in Maimahiu and different other areas is very welcome. I also want you to think about our environment and to participate in the tree planting exercise that's going on around Kenya. And finally, let me say, our children are opening school on Monday, tomorrow. I want you to pray over our children so that when they go to school, they be safe and they can get what education offers, and they can also be mentored into responsible citizens.
Kenya dethroned Uganda, who were the defending champions, after sweeping the podium in all events except the under-12 boys category, where they recorded a 1-2 finish at the Ngong Racecourse. Jane Wangari and Peter Lomoran led a clean Kenyan podium sweep in the under-15 girls and boys category during the 24th International Schools Federation World Cross Country Championships. Wangari outsprinted the rest in the last lap of the 2400 meters race as Kenya scooped the first 8 places.
Race yangu ya siku ya leo ilikuwa mzuri na naendelea kushinda.
Lomoran led Kenya to 1-2-3 finish in the 3400 meters boys race in 10 minutes 18.6 seconds, followed by Benson Tipapa, while Dan Kibet finished third. Dana Chepkemoi emerged the winner of the 3,400 meters girls under 18 category, with Fanuel Coach leading Kenya to another podium finish in the boys 5,100 meters race. Chepkemoi crossed the finish line in 10 minutes 47.8 seconds, followed by Mary Nyaboke, while Dorcas Chepkemoi completed the podium, placing in 10 minutes 53.4 seconds. Fanuel crossed the line in the boys category in 14 minutes 39.8 seconds, followed by Kevin Kiprop and Nelson Simiren.
Nilikuwa nimeset mind yangu tangu nishinde kule Nakuru. Nilikuwa nimeset mind yangu lazima nibebe hiki.
Shukuru tena athletes wangu wa camp Lemotit kwa sababu ananipeanga advice ili ni win race. Alikuwa ananiongelesha sana, ananiambia hiyo race ni yako.
Nataka kufunja record ya Faith Kipeyong ya 15 na pia nakimbia 15.
A total of 360 athletes from 19 countries took part in the one-day championship, with Kenya fielding a contingent of 61 athletes. President William Ruto, who led a contingent of dignitaries in gracing the international championship, said the nation was delighted to host the rest of the world after proving her capability in other events, notably the recently held Cape Keno Classic, the World Rally Championship, and other world athletics events.
Welcome to Nairobi. My very best wishes to all those who have won the races. Congratulations to those who have won. Congratulations to those who participated. If you didn't participate, those who won could not have won. So congratulations to all our children. Congratulations to all the participants that have come here as we celebrate this great diversity.
All the participating teams in the ISF World School Cross Country Championship head to Bomas of Kenya tomorrow for a cultural festivity. Kenyan junior athletes remain undefeated at the 24th edition of the International School Sports Federation Cross Country that was happening here at the Ngong Racecourse here in Nairobi. All the gold medals have been retained in the under-17, under-15 and under-12 categories. Nora Mwangi reporting for Sunday Express.
Youth and residents in Kasarani constituency, Nairobi County, have benefited from free medical checkups courtesy of medics drawn from different hospitals in the capital. The checkup followed a mental wellness and drug abuse sensitization walk.
Currently, so many people are abusing drugs as a way of coping mechanism. When people are getting stressed, especially now that people have a lot of stress.
And the reason as to why we are doing this walk, it's because we have a lot of young people who are struggling with mental health and drugs and substance abuse.
In Teso South, Area Member of Parliament Mary Emase has urged the youth in the region to join technical and vocational education and training TVETs institutions in order to acquire practical skills that are aligned to market demands. Elsewhere, Casio Middle East and Africa FZE has opened its second store in Kenya as it looks to tap into the ever-growing watches and jewelry market in the country.
We think that Kenyan market in general, fast growing the market, especially after COVID. Now that this city, the many younger generation is here, and so that we think that this is the best location for us.
Meanwhile, Kitutu Chache North legislator Japhet Nyakundi has supported the ongoing evacuations of Kenyans to safer grounds by the government for those residing in riparian areas.
Let us also be very vigilant so that if there rains where the students are going to school, let us look on a way on how we are going to take our kids to school, and let us make sure for the small kids, let us as parents take responsibility and take them directly to schools.
And finally, a women's group in Homa Bay County has embraced the use of water hyacinth to make charcoal briquettes to conserve the environment. The group says that the initiative will reduce the destruction of forests for firewood and wood charcoal burning.
Ukifanya hesabu kwa wiki moja unakuta lori mbili inaingia kwa Masule. Na hiyo lori inaisha kwa wiki moja, na tukikata kwa miaka moja miti itaisha.
Katika hii mambo nimeona ya mambo ya finance bill ya 2024. Ile iko ni proposal from the National Treasury. When the proposal from the National Treasury comes to Parliament, that is when the main process begins. So yale yote tumeona ni proposal. I want to assure the Kenyan people in the entire process of making the finance bill to become a finance act, all Kenyans' voices will be heard. And I want to assure the Kenyan people, this government is not hell-bent on overtaxing Kenyans. We want Kenyans to do their businesses without us bringing a tax regime that will distort decision-making in doing business.
Monday marks the first day of the second term after schools reopening delayed for 2 weeks owing to heavy rains and floods. However, across various schools in the country, the destruction meted by floods on major infrastructure is causing anxiety among teachers, parents and learners. Makere Primary School in Galole constituency in Tana River County is one such school. The school, with a population of 1,200 learners, stands less than 20 meters from Tana River. A water tank, a kitchen and half of the school fence have already been consumed by the river that continues to reclaim its place each passing day. Parents are now worried for the safety of their children, saying in a week's time, the rest of the school might have been consumed.
Compound ya shule inaenda yote, imeanza chini mpaka saa hii inaisha mahali ambapo tuko hapa. Sasa naona hatari kuwa watoto hataweza kusoma shule.
Tukiangalia saa hii shule mahali iko tumefikia na mahali tuko sisi ni hatua 10 tu shule ibomoke.
Naomba serikali watutengee mahali tupeleke watoto mahali iko usalama.
Na hatujaona governor, hatujaona waziri wa elimu, hatujaona senator kutembelea mambo kama haya. Wala mbunge wa area hii hajaonekana hapa Makere.
Kilometers away in Kiambu County, learners at Ruiru Girls Secondary School will be facing a new hurdle after 20 toilets collapsed and sank due to heavy rains in the past week.
Initially, we had that 6 toilets. Now 20 of them, they have sunk. So we are only left with the 16, and the 16 toilets are not enough.
Kuna kwingine tutapeleka vio vya muda nikitangaza niseme za ziada, lakini hapa tuko na bahati kidogo kwa sababu hii shule iko na bweni na tutaanza kutumia zile choo za bweni.
Meanwhile, North-Eastern Regional Commissioner John Otieno says plans are underway to relocate all internally displaced persons seeking shelter in schools. According to the Kenya Red Cross, 13,770 IDPs are being hosted in 5 institutions within Garissa Township.
Na ile watu hawana makartasi, naomba Red Cross ilete kwa haraka kartasi, hiyo watu wapate mahali ya ujenzi.
kwa sababu mtu akitolewa hapo anataka mahali ya kukaa.
Kama Monday watoto wataweza kusoma kwa sababu tumekubaliana na wale ambao wanaishi hapa, tutawapeleka pali pengine, na Red Cross wataweza kupeana hema ili waweze kujistiri kutokana na hali ya mvua.
Elsewhere, leaders from Rift Valley have urged parents to exercise care as schools open on Monday.
Pelekeni watoto shule mukikuwa uangalivu kwa barabara, kwa maji na kwa pale popote ambaye mnapita.
Walimu mpokee watoto mapema, na iwapo kutakuwa na changa yote ambayo itafanya mtoto ajelewe, huyo mtoto asiende shule on Monday, aende on Tuesday.
Ni vizuri watoto kwenda shule, lakini ni vizuri zaidi kuhakikisha kwamba barabara ile watoto wanapitia iko sawa kwanza kabla sisi kuruhusu watoto wetu kwenda shule.
Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi has in the meantime urged the government to ensure safety of all learners as they report to school on Monday for second term.
Wahakikishe shule zote ziko na usalama. Tutaki maafa ama watu wetu waumie ama shule iko hii iko ile, wasaidie ile wanasaidia mahali pengine, wakuwe na plan, emergency plan.
Have put enough mechanisms in place so that they can safely get back to the schools, and we will constantly be monitoring, working together with the Ministry of Education and all the schools, whether they are government sponsored or whether they are sponsored by the churches.
We need a permanent solution to the floods in this region. And that permanent solution, I believe, will be achieved if we not only complete the Soin Dam so that we don't blame governor here and the Kericho governor for bringing floods, but also adopting other measures to ensure that we bank our river so that water can flow straight into the lake.
Meanwhile, the National Transport and Safety Authority has urged drivers to avoid reckless driving. The authority says that since most roads are not in good condition as a result of flooding, drivers should be extra careful. NTSA officers will be on the road to complement the efforts of traffic police officers. Nancy Okware, Sunday Express.
Tragedy struck the Chamgiwadu Trading Center after a 43-year-old businesswoman Elizabeth Anyango Odhiambo was found dead in her home. Her relatives made the grim discovery. The tragic event has plunged the community into mourning and sparked concerns about the safety of residents.
Mtu yeyote ambaye anaweza kuwa na ujumbe yoyote kuhusu hili jambo, inafaa sisi tupate hiyo.
To the assessment, it seems that they were wrangling. They were wrangling with the woman, the person who did that, because according to the assessment of the place.
They're now pleading with authorities to intensify efforts to ensure the safety and security of the area.
As a people of this place, we are kindly asking the government to do the due diligence. Let them get into the depth of the cause of Nyagem's death, and as a people, we will really want to know that.
This, as retired Archbishop Eliud Bukala has urged leaders from Kerio Valley and the neighboring counties to participate in efforts to restore peace.
Please embrace peace so that we can benefit from these good things that our governors are trying to give us. Embrace reconciliation, embrace the idea of talking together and listening to each other. That's what God wants.
Turkana County Assembly Majority Whip William Samal Etubon in the meantime has called on the national government to focus on security in the Turkana South region, especially Katilu and Lobokat area.
Sasa polisi wa hapa Katilu wanawezaje fanya patrol kama hawana gari? Wakihitaji kusaidiwa mpaka wapige simu gari ya RDU ama ya ASTU ije. Local kukiwa na kutokuwa na usalama hawawezi fika huko. Hata usiku kufanya patrol hapa hawezi fanya. Kwani itachukua muda gani tusike watu wangapi ndio tuletewe gari? Itachukua muda gani wapiga kura wa rais wengi wasikwe ndio tuandikiwe NPR?
He spoke at the funeral of the late Joseph Lokemer, who was killed by suspected bandits from neighboring counties after being ambushed while herding his livestock.
The one-man, one-shilling revenue-sharing formula debate that was rejected under the previous regime seemed to have breathed a new life, and it is one that the second-in-command Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua decided to speak to during a church service at the SCK St. Peter's Mbere North in Siakago.
In matters revenue sharing, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, is a believer and a proponent of one man, one vote, one shilling.
And while we agree some counties are very big, we also want you to appreciate that counties are also heavily populated, kama hii ya Embu County. And so as we review the revenue sharing formula, we governors from Mount Kenya are saying the formula must begin to make sense of the one man, one vote, one shilling.
This is after governors from Mount Kenya region revived the clamour for the 1 shilling, 1 man push as the Commission of Revenue Allocation kick-started collections of views on the 4th revenue sharing formula, where the devolved units are pushing for additional resources.
And it goes without saying, the more taxes you pay, when it comes to sharing, you share more. And it's that way. And we have no apologies to make, because it cannot be a constituency like Roiro, ambaye iko na watu almost 800,000. Inapewa similar amount ya CDF with a constituency iko na watu 14,000. Is it fair?
There are some counties, Your Excellency, that are getting up to 14 billion a year. Mimi napata maximum 6 billion. Almost 3/4, almost half of that money inaenda kulipa wage bill. Ukiangalia ile nimeachwa nayo ya development, it is very little. So we are asking for the review of that formula, and we want our numbers to make sense and to count in the next formula.
On the destruction left behind by the devastating floods that swept through the country for the last few weeks, the DP assured families affected of the government support.
Hapa kwetu tumekuwa na shida Masiga Dam, Kiambere, tuliambia watu wasonge, kwa sababu hiyo maji ikivunja inaweza leta hasara kubwa sana. I'll work with the governor and the leaders here and the county commissioner. Tutalete chakula ya kutosha, blanketi na mattress na kila kitu. Ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba wale wote ambaye wameathirika, wametoka kwa maboma yao, wamepata chakula.
Over 200 people lost their lives, with over 200,000 others affected by the floods. Rigathi further stated that the state is winning the fight against illicit brew.
Miezi 6 iliyopita, kwa trading center vijana walikuwa hawezi hata kusimama. Kila kijana alikuwa mlevi. Na mimi nimefurahi sana ya kwamba vijana ni soba, tena ni wasafi.
Kila utawasaidia ni ile vita umeanza ya pombe isiishe. Wacha ifike mwisho.
Leaders from the region urged the current administration to complete projects that have stalled in the area. Mount Kenya leaders have also urged the Ministry of Education to avail resources to help schools ravaged by the floods.
Our infrastructure za shule mingi sana zimekuwa affected, including Mbere, Manyata na kila mahali.
Kuna bridges ambazo zaidi ya 60 which have been swept by the floods. So tuko na shinda kubwa.
Abdiaziz Hashim for Sunday Express.
For close to 2 weeks, a multi-agency team comprising officers from the National Disaster Operation Committee, KDF divers and the police was on the ground in search of the body of businessman Samuel Kamau, whose car plunged into River Sagana a fortnight ago. The team's effort has finally bore fruit after they traced the body of the deceased. This is after residents of Mjini slums of Sagana area noted and alerted the team of a pungent smell at the shores of the river. Rescuers acted swiftly and recovered Samuel Kamau's body.
Kwa mafanikio tumepata Kamau, na wakati tumempata huko chini mahali aliangukia. Tulikuwa tuna suspect aliangukia. Tulimpata huko chini kabisa ya mto. Kamau venye alikuwa na nguo bado na viatu, lakini gari yake hatukuipata.
Some of the residents, however, faulted the rescue team for allegedly not involving local divers in the search and rescue operations.
Hiyo kijana tuko naye hapa, yeye anatolea watu wengi kwa mto, lakini anasuhiwa saa hii kuingia ndani ya mto.
Hobi letu ni kwamba tutafutie huyo, tupeo hiyo jamaa anaye ujuzi wa kuingia kwa maji, na serikali imkubalise afanye hiyo kazi yake, jioni hiyo kipawa amepewa na Mungu.
The exercise of retrieving the body from the river occasioned a heavy traffic snarl-up along Murang'a-Sagana Road, sparking protests from motorists plying the road.
Na sasa ile jamu iko hapa ni kubwa sana. Wale walikuwa wanaenda mazichi hawezi enda, wale walikuwa wanaenda sherehe hawezi enda. Shauri ya hiyo jamu.
Joseph Ohungu for Sunday Express.